Hey, what's going on guys? Chad here, and today we're going to be taking a look at the brand new M42 Wireless from Xtrfy, and this mouse is something that a lot of people have been waiting for, including myself. And I had the original M42 and I just didn't like it because the cable on there was terrible, and luckily that's not an issue anymore because it's a wireless mouse now. Now right now this mouse is only available in two colorways, which is white and black, and it's the exact same size and shape as the old M42. But now they do include an adjustable shell for the back, so if you want to go with claw grip or fingertip grip, you can kind of cater to either or and find your own preference. The M42 is rated for 75 hours of battery life, and I've been getting really good results so far with it. I've only had to charge it twice and I've had it for quite a while now, and the connection with the sensor and everything has been flawless. I've had no skipping or hiccups, anything like that. Everything has been perfect as far as sensor tracking and wireless performance goes. There's no coating here, it's just a matte texture finish and it feels pretty grippy. And as you can see, there are holes everywhere on this mouse except for your actual fingertips lay. Now Xtrfy did decide to go ahead and include the weight balancing system in the M42, just like the M4 has. And there's some really important things to talk about with this, specifically with this feature, that we're going to touch on here in a little bit later in the review. You know, personally, I can't really feel a difference in my aim, whether I have the weight all the way back or forward. It feels pretty similar, and I do feel like this mouse is kind of heavy for its size. You know, it's rated for 67 grams and I get 66 on my scale, but for me the weight just doesn't feel balanced no matter what setting I have this on. And I think I would have preferred if they had taken this weight balancing system out and just balanced the mouse dead center like most mice are nowadays, because to me I think the weight feels a little bit clunky on this mouse, and honestly it probably should have been a little bit lighter, closer to 60 grams for the size of this mouse. My copy does have a little bit of creaking on the sides, but there's no flex here, and then on the bottom there is a little bit of flex and also some creaking. But overall it feels decently made in the hand, and when I shake it around it doesn't rattle or anything like that. Xtrfy went with the Kel 8.0 switches here, and buttons 1 and 2 on my copy feel fantastic. There's very little button wobble, very little pre-travel, very little post. They're very light and crispy, poppy clicks, and they're just fun to use, and there's really not much to complain about here. Buttons 1 and 2 feel fantastic. My hands are 19 by 11, and I feel like the side button placement on this mouse is just perfect for me. I can easily roll my thumb over and activate either button, and they're light and crispy, they're poppy, they feel good, they sound good, and they're just awesome all around. I love the side buttons on this mouse, and they're probably some of my favorites so far this year. The scroll wheel is a nice textured rubber surface with some RGB on it, and using it I've had no problems in game or out of game. It's got a little bit of a rattly sound to it sometimes, but it doesn't really bother me in any use, whether I'm just working on my computer or playing games. Either way it's been fine. It's pretty tactile, but it's easy to scroll smoothly, and as far as spamming goes, it's much easier than some of the older mouse wheels like on the MZ1, so they definitely have upgraded that and done a good job here. Right below the scroll, you've got the DPI/RGB/page down button, and then flipping the mouse over, you can see at the bottom there's these settings that you can adjust here, which control that main button on top. Also on the bottom of the mouse, we've got two large PTFE feet, and the quality here is pretty good. They're smooth and they're rounded, and I would say the speed on these is medium. They're not too fast, not too slow, and most people probably won't need to replace these feet. And sitting dead center in the mouse, we've got the 3370 sensor, which again has had flawless performance on my copy. No issues with tracking or wireless performance or anything. It's been absolutely perfect. Next to the sensor is the pulling rate button, and then on both sides of the mouse there's two screws here, and this is how you adjust the weight balance of this mouse. And Xtrfy includes a little screwdriver for you to loosen these up and then slide the weight forward or backwards. Also, there's 3 holes on the bottom of the mouse, and you can loosen these up and then pop off the back piece right here, and that's how you make adjustments to the shape of the mouse. Now the M42 Wireless does have RGB, but it is not quite as intense as the old M42 wired, and obviously they did that to save on battery life, but I still think it has some great RGB considering the battery life and the performance of this mouse. The cable that's included with this mouse is actually pretty decent, and it's gold plated on both sides, and I've had to play with this plugged in a little bit and I really didn't notice it too much, but you know, 75 hours of battery life, it's not like you're going to be plugging the mouse in all the time, but it is a good cable, and it's nice to see that they've upped their game in the cable department. Now as far as gameplay and feel goes, like this mouse fits my hand almost perfectly, and it's one of my favorite shapes I've ever used. Honestly, it's amazing. And my aim is really solid on this mouse, and I've been playing a lot of different games on it, and I've had great results all the way around. I wish the weight was a little more balanced feeling in this mouse and a little bit lower too, if I'm honest. And then I feel like it would be phenomenal in the hand, especially if they're, you know, the sides were solid. But gameplay for me, like tracking and flick shots and everything, I was playing Apex Ranked on this, and I had some of my highest damage games ever. You know, this mouse gives me really good control in between my index finger and my thumb. You know, everybody talks about that pencil grip, but that's what I really get with this mouse. I get a very high level of control and stability with this shape, and it's just absolutely fantastic for me in game. So yeah, I've really enjoyed my time playing on this mouse, and I had really great performance aim-wise and just comfort-wise and everything. It's all there. Now, I do have a pretty serious problem with this mouse. Unfortunately, this mouse broke when I was adjusting the weight balance on the bottom, trying to tune it in and get it just right. Like, even though I said it was hard to tell the difference, I still was trying to feel each step so I could describe it in the review. And unfortunately, this broke on my copy. It won't slide forward or backwards anymore, and basically I was adjusting it and I heard this crunchy sound all of a sudden, and I couldn't move it anymore. And it actually also affected my back side button rather, and I can't press that in anymore. It's totally stuck. So like, here's my front button, here's my back button. It's just totally stuck. So I was curious if it's just my copy of the M42 Wireless or if it's just something with the weight balancing mechanism. So I got my older M4 out, and I never had problems with this on this copy. But I started adjusting it, and on like the 4th try, this one broke also. And I wasn't being overly hard or anything. I was just using the included screwdriver and trying to slide the weight forward and backwards. And I found that while I'm in the process of pushing the weight forward or backwards is when it gets stuck, and that's what broke it. So in my opinion, this thing is a total gimmick, this weight balancing mechanism. Xtrfy should just take this thing out and balance the mouse dead center, like every high performance mouse. So yeah, that's my experience with the M42 Wireless, and I'm not saying you shouldn't buy this mouse, but I would say if you do buy it, don't mess with the weight balancing mechanism. It's a total gimmick. So that's all I got for this one, guys. Great mouse with some gimmicks on it. And yeah, hope this video was helpful for you, and I'll see you all in the next one.